Okay, we're 5 seconds in. We should have sound. So today we're going a little bit different than my usual crafting stream. Also, we're running a little late, but we've been running late for ages. I'm going to be replacing the LCD screen on my son's Nikon D90 camera. It was a gift from a friend. She had not used it in long enough. She didn't realize that the LCD screen wasn't working. Go ahead. Well, I was going to turn it on and show you guys what I mean, because the LCD screen, what's happening is when you turn on the camera, the LCD here, which you can see is kind of dirty anyway, is showing just a bunch of colored lines and blotches. No, you can't actually see anything. Now, I've had the replacement piece here for a while. What I didn't have was the right screws for it, a screwdriver for it. So, this is the replacement LCD screen. You can buy these individually from various places. Looks like I got this one from Online Seller in Inglewood, California, which means I probably got it through Amazon. Okay, now something I'm doing to make this a little easier for me is every screw I remove, which you can see I've removed 2 so far, they're going right here into bubble wrap, and then right behind it I will have this sheet of paper that says first, second, third, etc. That way I don't have to worry that I am going to lose or misplace screws. Okay. Now, I've got my instructions. I found them online. They were actually really easy to find. So I'm going to get to work, and I'm going to talk about it while I'm working on it. I've already finished the first step, which is to remove the rear case. That was actually the easy part. Now, so my only concern is if this turns out to actually be a JIS screw system, because that's where I wasn't able to remove things earlier, because it's supposed to be Phillips head 000, but my Phillips head 000 was not doing the trick. So if it turns out that I can't do it because it's actually just not going to work with this screwdriver, fine. I'll figure something else out. But hopefully I'll be able to get it all done tonight, because my poor son's been waiting for this since Christmas. Now, the screwdrivers I'm using are actually newer ones that I hadn't had before. So, I did find a screw that I believe will work on some of the parts, but I'm going to hold off. I don't think I'm going to need a PH1. I think the PH double or 000 is all I'm going to need for this, because my PH 000 is from this little Stanley kit that I've used for ages. I've also got this one. I don't even know what size it is or where it came from, but you know what? Sometimes it works. And then I found this last night, and it looked like it was going to work for some of the screws, however, not the ones that I'm needing to take off right now. The ones that need to come off right now are these 2 tiny, tiny screws So, hopefully, you know what, I've got a pen light, hold on. So it won't be that easy to hear me talking for a little bit, because that's right, my pen light's over there. Damn it. Oh, what was a thought? That's what I was gonna do. Make sure I didn't put it in here. I swear I did. No, I didn't. If I had my keychain, I've actually got a keychain flashlight on it. But we're just gonna do what we can with the light from the room. Wait a second. Oh. That's why I couldn't get them off. They were already out. They're the first ones that I removed. Duh. Okay. So I'm actually on step 3, which is, here we go, these 2 screws, this one and this one. This is where I got stopped last time. But they're turning now. Ish. Progress is being made. Slow and completely unsteady progress. Let me see if... So this one, I think this is from an eyeglasses repair kit, and it proved to be too small. This is a bigger one. Okay, that one's too big. Okay, so it's going to have to be the 00, which is working. It's just very slow, and from what I'm seeing, I'm getting tiny bits of gunk out. So it's still slipping a bit, and I don't want to ruin that screw. Let me try switching to the single 0 instead. I also picked up a new drill bit set today, because mine has been missing since the move. And you'd be amazed how often you need a good drill bit set. But I found a new set, same brand as this actually, that was on sale at my local store. And it was 70 bits for about twice what I was going to pay for a set of 5 bits. Okay. So that the 0 is too big. The 00 was slipping just a bit. I suspect that these are JIS screws, but we're going to do what we can. So we're going to... I'm just going to keep the double and 000 both, or the 00 and the 0 both out, because I suspect I'll need both of them during the course of the repair. Oh, dadgummit. Sorry, dropped one of my, or a few of my precision screw heads. Or bits, screw bits. But yeah. I highly recommend keeping a well-supplied toolkit, even if you never expect to be needing it. You'd be amazed how often you come across a project that you go to a repair shop or a store, and they give you the quote to repair it, and you're like, I can't afford that. And they're like, well, then I guess you'll have to do it yourself. I don't like having to put a lot of pressure in when I'm turning screws to remove them, because of the risk of stripping them. But sometimes you really don't have a choice. So I'm going to do what I can to hold that pressure in so the screw doesn't slip. Because that's what's happening, is anytime that I'm not holding that firm pressure, the screw slips. Okay, this one's far enough out that I can remove it that way with just my fingers. So let's do the other one. I'm just having to put a lot of pressure on this, and I hate having to do that, but if it works, it works, you know? And with teeny tiny screws like this, where I'm worried about stripping them, I will, as soon as I reach a point where I can just finger loosen it, I'm going to do that instead. It just has to be out enough that I can grab it. See, I'm getting somewhere with it now, just with my fingers. Right. Oh, great. I have to remove the exact same screw types on the other side now. I want my jewelry pliers. That's what I want. I don't know. Well, I have a decent idea of where they are, but I don't know for sure. Just saying, it would be a lot easier using them. We're going to swap to the other hand. Nope, we're not. We are going to go back to the precision pin. Okay, hold on. Before I do that, that way I don't risk losing that one screw I've already got out. There we go. Okay. Those two out. See that I have two. So the next two are on this side, and it is this screw and this screw. The ones by the I/O ports. Thing has a GP tracking chip in it. Nice. Oh, these are coming out so much better. I guess they're not full of caked in gunk. Oh, thank goodness that's a magnetic. I could have lost that screw and that would have been awful, because I would have had to get up and find it, and I don't particularly want to get up right now because I want to get this done. This is not the only construction or task I will be doing today of this type. Because once I'm done with this, I also have to hang up some pictures, hang up something that we're going to be using to hang the mop and broom and things like that in the kitchen. I need to put new knobs on several cabinets. Today's just one of those days. But if it's productive, that's what matters, right? I mean, it's okay to not have non-productive days, believe me. But since I am going to be gone all next weekend... Oh, by the way, there will be no streams next weekend because I'll be on a 30-hour each-way road trip that has to be done within 4 days. So, I'm not going to have time to stop and stream. Plus, who knows what state I'll even be in when I reach that point. Okay, so step 4, we've got those removed now. 2 5.3 millimeter Phillips screws and 2 6.3. Okay. I'm going to remove the 5.3s first. Now these are from down here. And the 5.3s... Okay, so these two are the 5.3s. And then here's the 6.3 and the other 6.3. I'm going to remove the 5.3s first just because they're first in the instruction. And that should make it much, much easier for me to keep track of which ones are which. Oh, I love you, magnetic ducts. Okay. Really should have clipped my fingernails before doing this because this is tiny, tiny stuff. And my thumbnails are a bit longer. I mean, I have to keep them a bit longer because I need them that way to play the kalimba. And so, because if you try to play it with short nails, it ends up sounding very thunky because your thumbs will actually, it'll be the fleshy pad of the thumb that hits the metal bar that makes the note. And that's not how they're meant to be played. They're meant to be played with the fingernails. So it'll sound very wrong. That's one out. This is one great thing about our age of internet, is the fact that so many items that we would have had to take to a specialty repair store or something similar, we now can fix on our own because we have the power of the internet and therefore the lessons of experts who have put it out there so that we can repair our own stuff. It's why I'm a huge proponent of the right to repair movement. Because there are a lot of companies that would prefer you not repair those items. I won't name specifics, but I think we all know the one in particular I'm thinking of. Because they want you to have to buy the newest, the shiniest, the fanciest. They don't want you to be able to use that product that you've already paid for, because once you've paid for it once, they're not getting money for it unless you're buying a lot of accessories and stuff. So they really, really, really do not want you repairing their things. They want you to have to get a specialist to do the repairs. Now, this is an older Nikon anyway. It's not one of the brand new fancy ones. So it's one that people have been repairing this for a while. I mean, this is, I want to say, like almost a 20-year-old camera. It's older than my son, who is the one who's going to be using it once it's all fixed. And don't think that my friend was just being cheap or anything with giving him an old camera. That's not what it was. It's the fact that my friend is an artist, but they're not a photographer. They use this mostly for taking reference photos for paintings. Well, they now have, a fancy schmancy camera phone that can take the reference photos for them. So they don't need the camera. And when they found out my son is interested in photography, they went, oh, I can get him this camera. Okay. So this says I'm supposed to be using something called a spudger. However, I do not have a spudger, so I will be using, very carefully, a flathead. Using the spudger, separate the bottom panel from the rear case, just enough to clear the two clips on the rear casing. Okay, so the spudger certainly looks a lot like a flathead screwdriver to me. I barely separated it, but that's all I needed. Now, okay, now that we've done that, lift the rear, oops, pop back on, okay. Just going to clear those clips again. Now, I should be able to lift the back. Aha, there we go. Okay. So, I'm lifting this off. However, I am not going to completely remove it because there is a very vital part of the camera that's still attached. So, why are you stuck? There we go. Okay. So, just gonna, there we go. Okay. Now, set the rear casing off to the side so that you can access the ZIF connectors. That's going to be these two here, because if you notice, this also has two. So, the one of them's a lot bigger than the other. We'll see. Okay. We'll use a spudger. Okay, so we need to remove the black tab, which we can see a bit better on this side. Oh, hey, I probably better pull that memory card out before I do much more. Do I need to lift it from... break it, but okay. They show it being pulled straight back using the spudger. Ooh. But the spudger's not doing me much good on this. I mean, this isn't actually a spudger. That might be part of our issue. This is... They show the removal being done by pulling back. Haha. Okay. So, next one. Okay. We're gonna push. There we go. Okay. Back of the camera, LCD screen. Alright, so I can set the camera itself aside for this next part. Yes, I've done that. Peel back the yellow tape covering the cable connectors on the back of the casing you removed. Okay, there's the yellow tape. Oh, he's using fancy tweezers in this. I'm going to use my nifty difty fake spudger. Okay. Using the spudger, rock the cable connector back and forth to disconnect the cable. Okay. Okay. It's a very, very tiny. Well, either I broke it or that came out really easy. I don't know which. I really hope I didn't break it. Okay. Doesn't look broken. Okay. So now I need to remove the 4.2 millimeter screws, which are this one, this one, this one, and this one. And then I will have 4 of a different size screws. These are the 4.2 millimeter, the others are 3.44 millimeters. These screws being as tiny as they are, they're kind of hard to jam into the words are hard, dude. Words are hard. I wish I knew where his charger for this thing was, because I could finish up and then charge it and make certain it works before I get it back to him in the morning. He's seriously been... He has been so patient with this whole thing. Because, like, everything we've been doing, I keep running into things that make it harder to do. And the fact he's been super cheerful and in good spirits about it. He gets super excited anytime I say, hey, I've got a new screwdriver we can try out. And yeah, he's sad if it doesn't work. But, you know, he's a good kid. He's just a good kid. That's all there is to it. And I know lots of parents say that about their kids. but I really got super lucky with how the twins have turned out. Like, there are a lot of ways things could have gone wrong. And I mean, yeah, one of them's still got OCD that he's dealing with, but that's hardly his fault. That's a bad situation happened, and, you know, he comes from a family where a lot of his ancestors have some form of anxiety, so he just didn't have much chance to avoid it, you know? Because that's really, if you get right down to it, what OCD is it's anxiety that gets a bit ahead of itself. I'm having to switch the screwdriver I'm using to this other one because this particular screw is being stubborn for me. Thankfully, it does not have the monopoly on stubborn. I am very good at stubborn. So, we're going to clean that again. And yes, I did get a haircut and shave, so... switch to that other bit. Let's see if it works a bit better. No, it's not going to work. It's too small. Alright, back to the original. So I've gotten this screw out. I'll have to take out these 4 as my next step. This is just one of those cases where I'm going to have to add more pressure than I want to. But it's coming out. There we go. Now for these 4. God, they're tiny. I mean, all these screws are super tiny to me. I'm not exactly the best at these delicate, tiny projects, but I'll do what it takes for my son, you know? Just like I've been saying since 2017. Anytime that a job I had tried to promote me, I have answered them back that no, I don't want a promotion. I don't want to be a manager. Which is true, I don't. However, my spouse swapped jobs and the new job is pay cut. Which means that somehow we have to make up the difference on funds. And it just so happens that at my current job, sorry, I dropped a screw, so I'm making certain to get it before I can lose it. But at my current job, they just had an opening for a position for a manager. Do I want it? No. But if it means that my kids don't have to worry about us losing the house, or not having enough food to eat, or not having money to get them to school because we have to drive them there, then I'm going to take that position that I don't want to make certain that my kids have what they deserve. And I'm sure I'll do fine at it. Like, everyone assumes that the reason I don't want the job is because I'm worried I won't do a good job. So they keep saying, oh, you're going to do great, wonderful things, yada, yada, yada. I'm not worried about that. I have a very, a very good view of my own skills and what I am capable of doing. This is not a, oh, I don't think I'll be good enough, or a, oh, I think I'll be bad at it. If I'm going to be bad at something, I know I'm going to be bad at it. Pretty quickly, at least. But leadership roles, I don't want them because I like to only be responsible for my own mistakes. And a team leader is a position where you're responsible for every single mistake that every single person on your team makes. There it is. Okay. I'm going to have to leave this thing sitting and just keep an eye on it and make certain that screw doesn't move, because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to have any more screws after this anyway. Well then. That wasn't held down very well, was it? Okay. So there's the silver metal plate that they said to carefully remove, which in my case I didn't really have to remove it. It fell out on its own the minute I lifted the screws. Okay, next. Fold the cable ribbons up and out of the way. Okay. Well, they're going to have to go different directions. Okay. Remove the metal shield. That's going to be this thing. Let's see. Aha. There we go. Okay. It's not as easy to remove as you'd think. Okay, that's out. Lift and remove the LCD. There we go. No more LCD. Now, well, it doesn't tell me how to put any of it back, so I'm just going to have to basically do everything backwards. So, let's get out this new LCD screen. And I want to try and avoid touching the cables themselves as much as I can. It would be great if I could remember which it's this way. Oh, glad I sorted that out. Okay, now. Okay, so now we are going to reverse everything. So, there's the metal plate back in. Let's see. Now we need to put this metal plate back in, which goes on top of Okay. Tiny screws. Yeah, we're just gonna back up and reverse order. And I'm not gonna tighten them super tight, because you really don't want to when working with electronics. I could not imagine trying to do this without a screwdriver that has a magnetic bit, honestly. I'm hoping that doesn't hurt anything in the electronics. I don't think it's a strong enough magnet to do so. But with how tiny these screws are, there's no real other way to hold them properly. So that's back in. Now, okay, we gotta get this hooked back into this. Newton. There we go. Okay, I'm going to put that yellow tape back over it, because I'm pretty sure that's there for a reason. Wish I had fresh yellow tape, but I don't. Okay. I did that. Now. Okay. So now I need to reconnect these to the actual camera. Wait. Oh, I missed a step. Sorry. Fixing that real quick. I almost put it back in with some of the screws missing. They're kind of important. Right, this was my little bastard screw. Who came from right here? Now these do need to go pretty flat. But again, in case I have to do this again later, I don't want to tighten them too much. So. Now, if I were being smart about this, I would be doing these cross corners. Because that way I don't have to worry about tightening one too much and another not enough and ending up with things out of alignment. But I'm not being smart about it. I just want to get it done. So that is not tight enough. Guess it's going to have to do because it won't go any tighter. See, one of my sons is taking construction classes, but he doesn't do anything with electronics. The other son, I think, could do really well for himself if he went into electronics. But right now he's got some other stuff that he's trying to deal with, so I'm not really pushing him for any position, you know? Okay, so now we're back over to this. And we've got to reconnect these to these. Trying to remember how those connect. I think the ribbon just goes. Yeah, okay. I'm going to connect the smaller ribbon first because it's the one that wants to bend back for me. Oh my god. Okay. You know what, we're going to do it this way. No, we're not. This part is so flipping fiddly because these are tiny little connectors. And I don't want to risk breaking them with my big klutzy hands. I wish I had a little precision tweezers that the person who did this, that I'm following their guide, used. But I don't normally repair small electronics. So that just isn't a tool that I happen to own. I think. We're going to use our makeshift spudger to try and coax this back into where it needs to be. Alright, let's try with the bigger one. That might be easier as long as I don't break those delicate little wires inside it. Didn't take a minute. I will be back shortly, but I am going to walk away for just a few. I don't want to get too annoyed and risk messing it up. So I will be back shortly, and just enjoy our break time. Okay, I am back. So here we go again. Almost had it that time, I think. There we go. So that's one in. So the trick seems to be getting them in place and connected, and then using, I'm sure the dude who wrote the tutorial would have me use a spudger to wedge them into place and reconnect them. But in my case, I'm using the edge of a fingernail because I've got a lot more fine control doing it that way. It's supposed to go. This one's honestly trickier, number one, because it's smaller, and number two, because it is made so that it naturally folds back, which means that even though it's the longer cord, it's if oh no, don't you come loose on me. Come on. Of course you came loose on me. Let you right back into place. No, that's loose. Yeah, that one came loose entirely. Okay. That one's the easier one though, so we're going to do the smaller one first. Have to use the spudger thing, or my makeshift spudger. It'd be much easier if I had a pen light. I'll manage anyway. Had it that time. Okay, I think I figured it out. Or not. Dang it. Like, I can see how it's supposed to work now that I've fiddled with it a bit. Because what's supposed to happen is that black tab they had me use the spudger to loosen. You actually push the connector into place under the black tab if you do it right. So that all the little pins line up. And then, once you've done that, that one's still a bit looser than I want it to be, but we're closer than we were. Oops. Nope, that came loose again. Dadgummit. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get them both lined up and in place as much as possible. Straight in there. Wedge in good and tight, and then we're going to push the clip down. There we go. That's all nice. And we're going to do the same with the other one. It is very delicate work. And again, delicate work is not really my forte, but I think we're going to get it. I've just got to keep steady so that I don't accidentally pull out the one that I've already reconnected, which is definitely the problem I keep running into. Come on. You're small, you're delicate. You don't particularly want to be jammed into the slot where you're supposed to be, but we're going to do it. Go back in your home. In there decently this time? Properly? Maybe? Let's use our makeshift spudger. Crooked. The other one's nice and tight now. Not that I want to risk pulling it too much, but it does appear to be properly connected now. You're in place. Let's fold down our little clip and pull this back again to make certain that those clips are free, just like they were when we started. quite. There we go. Okay, now I can put the rest of the screws back in and we should be good to go. So, let's see. Okay. So we need to do the two 6.3s again. Which one is here? I'll go ahead and screw it back in. And our other one goes right here. Now, thank goodness that my body parts are sensitive enough that I felt that hit my foot. Because it would have taken a while to find it otherwise. Sorry for the quiet muttering. I mean, we all know I do that a lot, especially when working on projects. Okay, so that's those. Now we go back to step 4. Okay, so we want to remove the ones near the I/O ports. That's on this side. Those are the two 6.4 millimeters. They go here. That's not as tightly into place as it should be. Crud. Okay. Not there. Thought that I had gotten it fully clipped back down, but obviously not. So, and I get to undo the screwing in that I just did, so. Thankfully, this is literally just a case of remove screws, push thing back into place, done. I might be able to get away with only removing 3 screws instead of all 4. Maybe. We'll see. This was being a butthead. No. Pretty sure it's those clips that kept being mentioned that are my problem. I'm gonna try and just ease this up. What's up here is 2. I don't want to force it so that it ends up breaking. That's my big concern here. There we go. Okay. If I ever have to make repairs to this thing again, I'm probably going to see if I can't replace these screws with something that's a bit more sturdy and less stripped. Because for some odd reason, these are all kind of stripped a bit. And I know that's not just that I was trying the wrong screwdriver at first, because some of these I was not trying with until much later. Like when I hit the two screws that I couldn't get out originally, I just stopped until I found the right screwdriver. Because I figured that most likely, if I didn't have the right screwdriver for those two, probably didn't have the right screwdriver for a lot of the screws, which it turned out I didn't. So, next we're putting back the screws by the SD slot. Then I'll go ahead and put the SD card back in. If y'all remember, it was still in there when I was taking this apart, so I popped it out real quick. I'm sure y'all are enjoying this stream where it is mostly looking at the top of my head. Okay. Let's see. So, we are definitely making progress. If I knew how to turn it on, I would turn it on to test it, though it could be that it just doesn't have enough power. Because it's been sitting for a while unrepaired. He was super excited when I said I might work on this on my stream, because he knows that the stream means it's going to get done, or it means I'm going to run out of things I can do, because it would have been done a long time ago if I had, been able to do it because I had the right tools. Oh, you're a magnetic tool. Screwdriver too. Handy. Not so handy that I keep dropping the screws, though. These are so ridiculously tiny. They're the smallest screws in this whole thing, and that's why they are so easy for me to keep dropping, and so hard for me to get them where they need to be. There we go. Let's see if I can get this tightened in without knocking it loose again. Oh, thank goodness. Thankfully, those don't need to be completely flush because they're part of how the viewfinder is held in. Man, he's going to be so happy when this is all done. Viewfinder back on. And there we go. New LCD screen. Is that how you do it? Okay, that's flash off and on. Virtual reality, I guess. It's AV, or VR. How the heck do you turn it on? Oh, right, SD card. Gotta get that back in. Slide that up. Pop that in. Slide that back down. Okay. Okay, give me just a sec. Okay, so that's not going to work for me. That is a... Here we go. Useful. Nikon D90 User's Guide Front Controls. Focus mode switch. Look at the top panel. Exposure mode selector. Sorry, I'm just looking at these different says just tap the power button and it turns on. Oh, okay. Yeah. I think this thing needs charged. Which is a shame, because I really did want to test it out for my son and make certain that that new LCD works. But I think we got it, by George. So he should, tomorrow morning when he wakes up, be able to put this on the charger and have his camera finally work within the couple hours. Just in case, I'm going to keep the spare LCD, or the old LCD. If it turns out that the problem wasn't the LCD screen itself, but the connectors, then the issue will be the same as far as I'm aware. And we can just put the old LCD back if needed and get something else going. But I do want to thank those who joined me for the crafting stream tonight. I know it wasn't our normal thing, but you know what? We got some good work done. We managed to, hopefully, keep that in mind. I'm not guaranteed any of this, but hopefully it is all fixed, and maybe someday my son will have a channel of his own where he does photography and stuff like that, because he really likes photography. His big focus is things like liminal spaces, which they're pretty cool. He's already shown me some of the photos he's taken. He got a lot of good ones at the old house just before we moved out. But I just want to encourage whatever creativity my kids get up to, whether it's drawing, music, computer programming. I don't care. Art is art, and everybody needs some art in their lives. That said, I do want to thank everybody who joined me tonight. I hope that you guys had fun watching me fiddle around to try and get this repaired. If you want to, you can always join me tomorrow for the gaming stream. Should be Guild Wars 2, if I can get Guild Wars 2 going. However, if I can't, that's okay, because I've got Star Wars going again. So, looking forward to that. Looking forward to getting a good start on the week. And thank you guys so much for joining me. You have a great rest of your week. And I should see you tomorrow for the gaming stream. Bye.